What's up? How you doing,
Well,
man?
chilling. How's how's your weekend?
Awesome.
You
Mountains
guys are
were
traveling, right? You guys
yeah, me and Rachel went to the mountains and then we just got back and went to the beach this morning. We live like at the beach, so it's kind of awesome.
not jealous at all by any means.
I'm sure Ohio
What
has
what was it?
Say again?
What was the occasion? What was the occasion? Was there an occasion to
We were like, we try to leave when like tourist season's high, like during like July 4th, Memorial Day, Labor Day. We just try to get out of the beach because it's like crazy here. So we just go to the mountains most of the time. And we decided to go on Thursday and like work remotely Thursday and Friday, which was just awesome. So we just did our calls and like went out to like really sweet breweries and yeah, hiked and we had a great time.
don't stop? You can stop rubbing it in whenever, it's not. Oh,
You gotta
have you
take time, man. I mean, there's a lot of stuff with like Hormozy and Gary Vee I agree with, but the amount of time they don't give to themselves, I have a big problem with. And I guess maybe it stems from me not needing to be like number one and something. I just want to be financially free. Like that's literally all I care about. Like if I can just surf all day and like have something like on rotation that just runs and it pays me, I'm stoked. I don't need to be a billionaire. A few
yeah.
million is fine.
Yeah. No, I'm on the same boat as you. I don't necessarily agree with everything they say either. I think there's seasons. There's a season where you push and a season where you, but like the purpose of everything is to have that, right? The purpose. Well, I mean, I also think it depends on your philosophy of life. Like I don't know about Gary Vee so much, but I know with Hormozy, he's a nihilist,
Mhm.
right? He doesn't believe in God or death, like anything. He just believes like we're here for this, and so it makes sense when he says that. Like the purpose of life is work because there's nothing else. So I get that. If your underlying philosophy is nihilism, like I understand that as well.
Sure. Not me. No, I believe in some kind of spiritual something, or
Yeah,
at least my own spirit.
yeah, yeah. Um, I think most people do too. Most people believe in something. Um, Mason, Kyle, MJ, hope you guys doing well.
What's going on, boys?
Yeah,
Chilling,
okay. Sorry. Still at
Are you
work,
doing
so
good?
chilling. Hope everybody had a great week. Hope everybody's enjoying their Memorial Day. Okay, guys, what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and get started. I feel like today's going to be a pretty chill, fast one. It seems like nobody has any questions. Um, but we'll see. Um, close out of this.
Good.
Adam's going to be on shortly. He's closing a deal with one of our pet groomer clients for one of their clients, one of the sheep, as you call them.
How, how- how's he doing? How's
He's
Adam doing with
and
calls?
he's picking up. He's definitely like embraced the tech kind of um position really well and like really like cleaning that up a lot. And he's starting to like cycle himself into calls and he's doing pretty well. So
Good,
it's awesome.
good, cool. Um, well, I think so. I know Amon's going to be a little bit late. Don't have Camilo yet. Um, Kyle, you got anything that you want to go over, man, at all, or nothing at all? Anything at all, man, that you want to go over? Anything? If
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Sorry, I gotta watch the kids here. Wait for Montana to get back, so it's on my phone right now. But I did have a question actually that came up. What was it? It was related to filming and stuff. Oh,
Mhm.
when it comes to so the testimonials, is it okay if I film like most of my stuff, or like before we launch the ads, do I need to have a testimonial from like a potential client or from Donald?
No, you don't. You don't need to have a
Okay.
testimonial. Um, like you don't need to create a testimony, is what I'm saying. You don't need to create a testimony. You will, what we'll do is we'll create testimonials as the clients come in.
Okay. Okay.
We're just gonna have some placeholder
So
content.
yeah, that's good. I was stressing out about that.
Yeah, we'll just have some placeholder content that is good enough that people will show up to your calls.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So no, I mean, I can't really think of anything. I know I just have so much. I got like maybe one of the ads done. It took me so long to film it, so I
Mhm.
guess it's just taking me longer than I thought. Running into little issues here and there, but it's just one second. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. For sure I want to get it all done by this week. Hopefully, like early this week. There's some shots I want to get at the club, so I'm gonna film everything I can here, and then film what I need to at the club.
Cool. Good stuff, man. Yeah. And anything, so it sounds like maybe there's no question, anything else that you feel like you wanted to update us on, or anything that might be adjacent to this, off tangent to this, that could help you kind of be as efficient as possible this week. Sometimes all you gotta do is edit, but I'm just want if there's anything else.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe tips on filming if we're looking for something. I guess I guess because I know like you talk about enthusiasm and all that, and I think I got that down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I just gotta. I haven't filmed myself very much, so it's all kind of new, right? So maybe that's what's slowing me down a bit. But no, I honestly I think I just got to do it here. I can't think of anything else.
So you have to film and edit still. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I've only filmed one of the scripts. Like I think I got one take that I liked, um, and I still got 4 more scripts I got to film.
Okay. So I guess one tip I could say, and it's not necessarily a tip, but it's more so a reminder, and it's an important reminder. Because I know I send you a lot. I bombard you with a lot of voice notes. I send a lot your way. But like one thing I was pretty adamant about is like, multiple offers so that you have those backups and you don't have to re-record. So I don't know if
Oh
you've
yeah.
been doing that. Have you been doing that?
I haven't even done that offer yet. Like the only script that I did was the one that you guys had. So, but I'll get there. And yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I want to make sure that I say those different numbers. So that's a good reminder.
Yeah, just like, again, I don't remember exactly all the things. I know that was one of it, but there's another variation I said as well. It could be attention Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu business owners as well as attention mixed martial arts studio owners. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like, it's just important that you record all of those just to have them. So you're not, because once the ball starts rolling, Kyle, and, leads start coming in, you're gonna get busy. You're not gonna want to juggle, focus on creative again. The idea is that we get these taken care of, and then you don't have to worry about this for another 3 to 6 months. That's kind of the game plan.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Because yeah, just setting everything up and making sure the camera's in the same spot can be time consuming and all that.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, okay.
That's pretty much it. That's all I can think of. I mean, yeah, enthusiasm and I've seen some of your stuff, so like I'm sure you'll be able to handle that just fine.
All right, yeah. I thought I had something else actually that came up, but it's if I get it, if it comes back, I'll definitely ask a question maybe in the chat here, and maybe if there's time.
Okay.
But right now, yeah, I can't think of much.
Did I go over, because your initial question was like, hey, Kushik, do I have to report testimonials for the funnel? Did I ever kind of like run through, like, for example, like Aaron's funnel and like, Jorge, Adam, Tony's funnel, and kind of like walk you through like how they have certain like placeholder content just to make the funnel work?
This is
Like,
a full out system.
for example, did I talk to you, Kyle, about how on the confirmation page of Aaron's on Aaron's confirmation page, it's a video of Gary and not a medical spa business owner. Do you recall me ever bringing that up?
On his confirmation page, it's a video of what, sorry?
Gary, which is his business
Yeah.
partner, not a medical spa business owner. Did I ever bring that up with you?
Oh, I think you did. So they kind of like almost like faked a testimonial just to have content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
right.
So that's why. So I just bring that up because of your initial question of like, hey, Kushik, do I have to film a testimonial or content or whatever? So like, you should have your answer based off of what I initially told you.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I was saying too, I could get Donald to kind of do that. I'm sure he would do it, but yeah, I was just wondering, I guess if that's necessary, or if you can get away with it until you build those out, like, because I just know getting Donald in front of the camera like might delay some of the filming until like later in the week, maybe next week.
Yeah, no, it's not necessary at all. By any means. It's not
Okay.
necessary. Yeah, I would say speed for sure. Like, let's get this up and running as fast as possible. And then when we can get Donald, we'll get Donald.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because he'd be totally willing to do that. It's just a matter of getting him, in front of the camera might be hard to nail him down.
Sure. Anything else come to mind, or
I don't think so. I'm just at this point. It's just kind of I'm juggling a lot of like pre-existing work right now. Like it's last month was like dead, and this month's like the complete opposite. Just seemed like a lot of work's coming my way, and then obviously this part's a big part of the course too. So it's just going to be busy, but I can handle it. It's just going to be a lot of work.
cool. Well, I appreciate you letting us know. This way we can kind of be mindful of that. If we see kind of like, like, hey, Kyle's a little bit, he seems like he's got a lot on his plate. Now we know why. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, but other than that, I can't think of anything. Like I said, I'll be listening into the call here, and if anything comes up, I'll make sure to send a message here too.
Sounds good, Kyle.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Riviera, what's going on, man?
Hey, Kaushik. More or less the same, just pretty much rounded out these edits here, and yeah, I probably could launch tonight, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. I probably get it down to 3 edits. I did like have 5 edits, but the 2 other ones are like kind of weak in my, but you never know how the audience might react, so we'll see. But yeah, 3 solid edits I would say I got from this. One being like a 6-minute cut, and the other ones are like, say, 2 to 3 minutes. So kind of one really long form, one kind of shorter. And yeah, I just kind of saw your reply. I'll definitely try take in mind the copy, keep it so that the creative is the only variable. But yeah, I think we're just gonna keep doing the Facebook form, correct?
Yep.
Cool. But yeah, nothing too much, Kaushik. I know once I launch this thing, I'll have a lot more to go back and forth on. But I just really appreciate you keeping me on the tried and true track. I don't think I would have had a video testimonial done with any of my clients as fast as I would have if not for even just speaking with you, right? You kind of lit the fire to see the value and just even having that done. So just super happy to actually have that on my hard drive and being able to cut stuff up from it. It's gonna be cool to run ads with, but also, have just organically, and when I build out my future site that I'm kind of working on, it's just gonna be really clutch to have.
Absolutely, man. You're welcome, man. But you put in the work and you went after it, you made it happen. So good stuff on you, man. Tony.
Sorry to interject, but like I've been having issues getting clients to give me testimonials, and we have on our we
Dude,
have on
I was
Go ahead.
literally gonna send you a video about this when you
Okay.
first mentioned that stuff. I was gonna send you, but go ahead. I mean, you should
Yeah,
totally. I already told Daniel some of this stuff, so maybe he'll give you some of the sauce.
we had on our onboarding for everyone, like, how to get a 10% rebate. We kept that from your onboarding, and just create like a really awesome video, et cetera, et cetera. And we've had 3 people like promise to do it like the day of. And I even have one that says it's already been recorded, but she can't send it to me for whatever reason. She's like, yeah, I'll send it to you later. It's like, fuck, to have to drive to Pennsylvania to get it.
So, so I guess your question is like, how do you get it? Yeah. So I'll kind of go over like some higher level like tactical stuff that I'm working on with Riviera and Jorge, and even Aman in terms of like testimonial videos and like what we're doing for content and ads and stuff like that. But I guess like Riviera, since you've been able to get that, I mean, do you have any feedback for Adam that's kind of helped you get that testimonial from her? I mean, I know with her it was a game of like cat and mouse getting it. Is there something you can kind of give
Yeah.
Adam helped you?
Yeah, I mean, she was always a poor communicator. I mean, still, but just, I mean, it depends where you are in context to like the relationship with your client. Like, I would say I've been this client for a while, and I just kind of phrase it as an update call. And I did it when it was kind of like on a high. So when there was like some leads coming in that week, I was like, I emphasized the update call. It should be ASAP, should be soon. Hey, I really want some insight. I really made it like like almost like it's imperative we get on this call, because if we don't, we're missing out on a chance to kind of capitalize on our kind of the big returns we've been getting. So I kind of, because I have to light a fire under her to get anything done, pretty much, even a reply done. So I phrased it like that. She jumped on the call, and through that, felt her positive energy, capitalized on kind of the good, nature of things been going lately. And I just said, oh, I'd love to, kind of pick your brain a little bit on like how you've been using this, right? And kind of, so I phrased it more so like in the beginning, like she definitely at the end knew it was a testimonial she'd be giving, but in the beginning I was just like, hey, I'd love to get your thoughts on like how you're doing this, how is front desk like handling this, and it'd just be super nice to have to kind of let my other dentist know. And she was like, "Oh, sweet, yeah," and like maybe you could throw in a little bit of like testimonial of how we've helped you and stuff. She's like, "Oh, anything you need, da da da." So I mean, she was easy. So there wasn't any opposition. So I don't know how it is with you, Adam, and kind of where your bottleneck is. Obviously, it could be a multitude of things, but I just kind of used the update call as like the Trojan horse to get through the gate. And then once I was on the call, it's going to be like, hey, how are you? How's your weekend? Did you have a blast? Any adventures? Da, da, da. And then some good energy comes from that. And then I just kind of capitalize on that and kind of lead with that. But I would say she was being a little bit, she like canceled the shoot day to go shoot the testimonial. Mine's a little different. Weren't doing a Zoom call or anything. It was like, she's 30 minutes from me. So, you know, um, just went ahead and tried to schedule a shoot date. She got sick, but yet she offered another date, so we were able to go shoot that date. But I would say, yeah, what would you say is like your number one bottleneck, Adam, for like, let's say the closest person you're getting close to a testimonial with?
It's Tony, by the way. Adam's the other
Oh,
guy.
Tony, sorry, Tony.
Doing him. No worries at all. So, I mean, the one we lost, like she was like, I kind of jumped on it within the first 4 weeks as he wrote, and like she was like at like day 18, of running ads, she had closed like 15 people, which is awesome for us, right? It's they're low ticket, but that's great. So I begged her to do that, and she was like, "Yep, I got you. I'm doing it. I'm so stoked." She was so hyped. It never happened. So from what I heard from you though, you're going to like get testimonials. We're trying to get like selfie videos, but I feel like at this point, like just recording the calls that we're having with them, and we already are recording, but like I might just have to use that as a testimonial. You know what I mean? And then just deal with it, because they're like hyping things up really well on the call, and things are going great, et cetera, et cetera. And we have some recordings of that, but I was hoping, my hope was having like a selfie video with like dogs being groomed in the background, obviously, like for our
Yeah.
niche,
Mhm.
And the other person apparently says she's already done it, and just hasn't sent it to us. And then we have one more outstanding, but they're out of town on vacation. So thank you for that insight. And yeah, I mean, we finally found a client that's like within 4 hours of us, which is cool. So she'll be a good candidate, but we haven't even started running ads for her yet. So it'll be a little while till we get that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, I can see the selfie video being like the way to kind of like whoever's seen the ad or whatever is just like instantly clicks, oh, this is someone that works in my field, so I
Yep.
totally get that. Shoot, I think I had some way, Joel Kaplan had some technique that he used. I don't know if I have the document here, but I don't think I personally used it, but it's like a way to kind of frame it. But I don't know if there's like, what do you think, Koshik, like incentivize? Because I've heard some people give like $50 Starbucks cards and all that stuff, and I've heard different ways of people doing that to get these done, to just kind of get them over the fence.
So I'll kind of, I'm going to kind of provide a little bit of a mini masterclass here on the stuff. What I don't like the way Joel does that, honestly. I don't think that if you're going to incentivize somebody by paying them $50 or $100, like it's just not, like you're not going to get the highest quality testimonial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In my experience. On top of that, like I've offered that like 10%, 50% off. It works not nearly as well as when I position it as the benefit of somebody else. Whenever you position something in the benefit of somebody else, That's what gets them to actually do it. Not like 10%, 20%. People fucking forget about that. They don't care about that. They don't care about the $50. Even if you offer the $50, it kind of feels like you're twisting their arm and they feel like a dick. And that's why they do it, because they feel like a dick. They're like, man, this guy's got to pay me. I'm kind of an asshole, or it's not a good move. So basically, why am I doing this thing? First of all, so this is a masterclass for a little bit for everybody. So everybody, I would encourage you guys to pay attention. This applies to everybody. So there are two reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing with Riviera. I'm doing this with Aman. I'm doing this with Jorge. And so Kyle, this would apply to you as well. I think I may have sent you some stuff, Kyle, about this. And it would apply to everybody, actually. So basically, a little while ago, there's a guy, his name's Tanner Chittister, and there's a guy, his name is Ravi Abulvala. Both of them do solid 8 figures. Both their content is amazing. You should totally check out both their stuff. Ravi Abulvala was on a podcast with Tanner Chittister. Tanner Chittister was asking him, hey, what is your marketing strategy? What are you guys doing? Ravi Abulvala shared a bunch of sauce. There's a podcast, you guys can check it out like now if you want. One of the things that Ravi Abulvala said is he had a dinner with this one other guy. So Ravi Abulvala was this dinner with the other guy. This other guy is a media buyer for this business owner. And what they do is these guys literally spend 6 figures a day on low ticket funnels profitably. It is insane. I have never heard 6 figures a day selling a $27 thing profitably at scale. That is fucking nuts. And so my eyes perked up and I'm like, what the fuck are these guys doing? And so what this guy explained to Ravi Abulvala was that what they do is very simple. Like, what's work on Facebook ads right now? By the way, something that's working really well is like Spanish communities. If anybody wants to write that down, that's something else I learned. I'm going off tangent here, but you might want to write that down. Going after Spanish people in the United States specifically is very profitable. Anyways, so what he was explaining was what works really well for them is podcast type of content where they're cutting out like a certain piece. So you guys are probably seeing that short form content. There's a ton of like podcast types of stuff. So what they do is they'll have, for example, podcast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what they'll do is they'll cut out like, let's say 10 creatives from here, 10 creatives from here, 10, 10, 10. And so they have basically 5 podcasts, 50 creatives, and they have one banger from every single podcast. So you got 5 podcasts, 50 creatives, 5 bangers. Then they'll take those 5 bangers and they'll mix and match those and they'll create other bangers. And so what he said is literally, in order to do 6 figures in ad spend per day profitably, 2 low ticket offers, they have literally thousands of variations of these ads, and that's all they do. They do nothing else. They don't do like talking head, middle funnel, top of funnel. They don't do any of that stuff. This is what is working. So if it's working for these guys at that level, well, then I'm willing to bet it's going to work for us as well. So that's the first thing I want to share. The second thing is this also, again, this further verifies, what we're talking about here is like, the second reason I'm starting to do this with these guys is like, we've been funnel hacking a guy named Suk, very successful agency owner, runs ads for dentists, multiple 7 figures, scaled his company to 250,000 per month. And we're looking through his stuff and studying his stuff and seeing, and this guy Suk, by the way, he was documenting his experience for years, as Riviera will tell you. He was documenting saying, hey guys, not going well. I'm trying to figure this out, And so we figure out like, so we're looking, okay, so he was struggling a lot, just like, a lot of guys when they're building this agency, but he's got 7 figures, 250K per month. So what was the thing that was like different? What finally worked? And we looked at like the thing that was working for a very long time, like the stability. And what was the thing that was stable that didn't change? Literally podcast testimony types of ads. That's it. So what he does is he basically is hopping on a call with the dentist and just asking them questions. And that's literally it. And his first, like what he's going to try to do, obviously, is he's going to try to get them to fly in, or he's going to go fly there and face to face. If they can't do that, well, then they're going to hop on a Zoom. And so obviously with the one where you're flying in, well, then you can have the background as like, showing like the dentist office and all that stuff. That's going to be ideal. So try to go for that. If not, go for Zoom call. Now, the other thing that he was saying as well, Suk, again, I did a deep dive on him. He was saying like the moment, so I'll maybe get into it here. I'll touch on this here, but he was saying the moment somebody has a win, he's hopping on a call. He doesn't care if, they have a sale. He doesn't care if it's a lead, like he doesn't care. It's some kind of win. So if it's leads that have poured in, like within 24, 48 hours, leads have poured in, he's going to say like, yo, let's hop on a call. Let's talk about it. And the reason he does that, and this you guys know, just don't be naive and understand the game. The game is simple. Sometimes you hit out the park. Sometimes it shits the bed. You hit out the park month 1, it shits the bed month 2, and then month 3, ads are going well again. So you get them while they're hot. That's the most important thing. You only have one attempt at this thing, right? So that's what he does. Now I'm going to show you guys some additional things that you guys can do to get these testimonials. So hopefully that you guys understand like why this is so important. right? So hopefully you guys start understanding like why this is important. Yes, talking head, top of funnel video ads that we talk about, within the niche funnel, but also like try to leverage these podcasts and see how well they do. I would encourage all of you guys to try to make this a habit. Now the question becomes, well, how do you get them, right? So here's what I would do. It starts with your onboarding. It can start as early as your sales call. Actually, maybe you guys want to take a note of this. I'm saying onboarding. Honestly, it could be your sales call. So for me, for example, on my sales calls, I tell people, hey, look, we do these coaching calls. You can miss no more than 2. I need you to record your calls. I need you to do this. Only then will the offer, stand. Everybody says, yeah. So they're already kind of primed to know, like, hey, I got to show up to these coaching calls. I got to record. I got to give Kaushik my, update him on my KPIs, all this stuff. So they already kind of sort of know that. They're already like bought into that. Now we really drill people on the onboarding. And so what you can do is you can tell people, hey, look, for us to find success with you for the very first 4 weeks, again, we don't want to be, all up in your grill and bothering you, but we want to see you guys win. And for us to see you guys win, we need to have touch points with you for the first 4 weeks. And what we want to do is we want to have a Tuesday and Thursday, Monday and Friday, or you can do something where like, this is what I was telling Aman, is just have 1 day a week, like your Fridays, and you just take your Fridays and you just go 11 to 11:30, 11:30 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 1:30, and you're blocking out times with all the business owners. You're spending 1 day just doing a bunch of calls. You can do something like that. So that could be like your Fridays, and then like your Wednesdays can be like touch points where they like message you through Slack, like, here's what's going on, here's an update. So what you have to do is you have to position it where like, hey, they have to do this to be successful. Now, by proxy, what's going to happen on Fridays? They're going to fucking meet with you, and then you can go and do what Daniel's talking about. Have a conversation. You're doing so well. Right away, you have an ad. And if you want to push that, you want to really gas them and say, hey, you're doing such a fantastic job. Do you wonder, would you mind creating a testimony for us? Or would you mind us coming into your office and recording something and sharing this? I think it gives so much more value to our other clients. They're going to fucking eat it up, right? So it's an easy way. So again, it starts with the sales call or at least the onboarding. The other thing is what you can also do is you can also on your onboarding and like once you've onboarded them, you say, hey, this is a touch point that we do, but then also you can say, hey, look, the other reason we do this is we try to capture a bunch of content to run ads with. So there's another guy, his name's Jordan, runs a medical spa agency, does about 300,000 per month. And he had to figure out how to get a bunch of content for ads. And he realized stock images don't work nearly as well as like creating custom content, but he can't get custom content from all his clients. It was just too insane. So what he would do is when he would onboard his medical spa business owners, they would hop on a Zoom call. He would ask them a bunch of questions. He would use that content to create ads. So what you can do is you can position it. Again, everything has to, you're positioning everything. You're saying it's in their benefit. So you're saying, hey, look, we're going to hop on this call and I'm going to ask you specific types of questions. The reason I'm asking these questions is so that we can create content from it. So right away you're priming them. We're like, they're gonna be like, hey, there's kind of a random question, or they're not going to think, oh, this is a random question, or he's trying to get a testimony, whatever. They're going to think, oh, this is for my benefits, for my ads. That's how you're positioned right from the get-go. So you're planting the right seed to get them to think the right way about that testimony video. The third thing is I already mentioned this with Suk, where she says like, hey, look, I don't care. The moment they have a win, I'm on their ass and I'm hopping on that Zoom call. So you guys have to engrave that as well, right? The moment somebody has a win, again, you have to position it the right way where it's like, you're not selfish, you're selfless. You want to get their feel, you want to get all this stuff from them, which will serve them. The last thing I would mention is this. A lot of people in here, they're from different communities, videographer communities. Some of you guys are from full-time filmmaker, for example. You guys can certainly set up some kind of SOP. Hey guys, I need a videographer in this location on this date to do this thing. And you give them the exact script, exact questions. You give them the previous video that you shot. For example, Rivera, he has a video now that he can share and say, hey, look, I want you to create something like this. I want you to step on camera and you're going to ask these questions as if it's you. It doesn't matter that there's another videographer on camera talking to the medical spa business owner or the niche, whatever. You're running a fucking ad with it. Nobody gives a shit who's who. They just care that it's a dentist, chiropractor, whatever. So you can set up a videographer to do that. And again, I'm not telling you that it's going to be an easy walk in the park. You're going to have to figure out your SOP of how you hire people, the Loom video you send them, the way you train them, get them to buy into like what you're doing here. But I would encourage you guys to carve out some time to do this. If you guys make this a big part of your business with creatives, is figure that out for yourself in terms of creators that you can outsource across the United States or wherever you are to get these creatives. Now, what I do personally, and I don't know if this would apply to you guys, I think this works more so for like a coaching type of environment. If you guys have like more of a done with you agency, more like a coaching type of deal, you guys already know the drill. What did I say to you guys at the very beginning on your onboarding? I said, hey, look, as soon as you guys have your very first win, I'm going to ask you guys to do something. And then I literally sent over a document. So what do? As you guys probably have seen this, first one, SOP. So I have it already created within Canva. Here's how you do it. Step 1, step 2, 3, 4, boom. People send it over. And I personally don't use this for testimonials. I just use it for you guys to inspire and motivate you guys. But if I ever want to use this testimonials, I could totally use this testimonial. So you guys can do that as well. And so again, the way I've positioned this is for you guys to help each other out. But again, the way the content is created, I can run ads with this or use it within my marketing material if I wanted to. So those are a few different things that you guys can do to get these testimonials and why it's super important to start getting these. Questions, comments, concerns, thoughts.
I also take a lot of screenshots along the way, just like going back and forth with people because there's a lot of different ways to get a testimonial, right? Like you don't have to just do videos. You know what I mean? Like I have a folder that's just like testimonials, and it's like videos, screenshots, and then just basically all types of different things.
Yeah. So one thing we'll do here is like, we'll take a screenshot and then we'll also download the video. So download the video and we'll have the screenshot, and we do this for all the wins, and we just have them stored away somewhere whenever we need them, if we ever want to leverage them. That's a good point that Mason brought up. Be screenshotting these things. And here's another cool thing I'll share with you guys. The content that gets the lowest views, but the highest conversion in terms of book calls and qualified calls, you know what they are? They're those testimonial types of videos where you're interviewing people over and over again. In my experience, like literally the other day, I shared something with Drew. Drew hopped in this past Monday, and I took like the 15-20 seconds where he's talking about how he went from like 1,600 a month to 6,000 to 17,000. My Instagram blew the fuck up, and people are buying the course just from that little snippet over all the time. And so these are the most powerful pieces of content you can create. It's going to usually have the lowest views, but the highest conversion rate, and it's going to be the most profitable content for you guys over and over again, hands down. Questions, comments, concerns, any other thoughts, guys? Okay.
Oh, what was the name of that guy? Robbie something? I think the first you mentioned him kind of Robbie and something,
Vala and Tanner Chittister. Check these guys out. Subscribe to their shit. Buy they're good. It's good stuff.
Cool. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. Kyle Riviera. MJ, any questions at all, man? Or actually, I'm sorry, Tony, like, does that answer your question, man?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I didn't know if there was another like secret to getting them to do that, but it does help to think that like just recorded calls can be used for testimonials. Of course, it'd be nicer to have like the selfie video, like you said, like in the field, whatever that field may be. But I do think we have a little bit of like, recorded calls from clients being stoked. So we can kind of sift through and see what we have so far, and then just keep on the tails of other people that owe us testimonials.
I guess, are you saying like testimonials and like they're like filming themselves? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, I mean, I basically said, and I kind of like reminded them of where they were at, you know what I mean? And like how much they've spent versus how much they've gotten, and how many days it took, how many new leads they got, etc.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, interestingly enough, what I would tell you based off my experience actually is that the content where you're facing them actually performs better. In my experience, where you're
That's why the podcast thing kind of works too, because they assume there's somebody else on the other end, even though there's probably not. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
Podcast
That podcast thing is crucial. We have like our own little studio next door to our office. It's very small. It's called the Tiny Studio. But I have a friend who has like $5,000 worth of podcast gear in like a small apartment. He's like, "Do you care if I come set it up?" And we've been dragging our feet, but this is like a really good reason to just do that and just leave it there, right?
Exactly.
While we're talking about that, and I don't want to like take Daniel's time, but how would you apply that? Let's say like if we were, it would be more about like talking to a pet groomer in our case, right? And like having them in there, or at least pretending like we're talking to a pet groomer from a podcast situation. I mean, how would you approach that? Like, how would you utilize that in our niche? And you can wait till our turn if you want.
Yeah. So are you talking about like record, like is it for an ad? Is it for the funnel? Is it for Instagram? Like what is the purpose of this content?
Yes, everything. But I mean, I guess ad would probably be the smartest thing. And I think that's what you're referring to, is that the kind of pretend podcast or whatever is the creative that they just keep cycling through. They just keep taking bits of that, like kind of monologue that somebody has with headphones and like a spitter mic in front of them, right?
I would say that the most important like way to leverage all of this is going to be the ads. Like I will tell you, like I haven't refreshed my, I should probably do this, but I haven't refreshed the testimonials within my funnel in years. I haven't needed to. But like, because it doesn't like, I just don't think it makes a huge difference. In my experience, it's the ads where you leverage it the most. The ads, I would say your ads, whenever you post like Instagram stories, because Instagram is great for like promotion, right? That's for people, a lot of time people using YouTube for like education and nurturing and long form versus Instagram more for like pushing out offers and like, real quick offers and stuff on your stories. So I feel like it's really good for Instagram and it's really good for ads. And then the long form version of it would be good for like YouTube, where you really want to nurture people. But in your guys' particular case, like I guess you guys would totally do that. If you're to ask that question, like how would you leverage your studio? Like exactly what you're saying. Like you would leverage it that way. You would position yourself there, and then you'd have them film a certain type of way, and you cut it together. You kind of figure out aesthetically what makes the most sense, where it's not jarring for the creator, jarring for the viewer, where they feel like, oh, it is actually shot together somehow, if it's possible to cut that together.
Do you think that that method would be utilizable to sell to their clients? Like it's hard for my brain to equivalent how to sell dog grooming with a podcast. Like, yeah, they were so smelly and dirty, and they came in all muddy. It's like a story about a dirty dog or some shit. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like
So you're saying like if you try to tell them on your onboard, like, hey, we're gonna create these testimonies, we're gonna create like a podcast and have a conversation with you, and the reason for this is gonna convert, get you more leads and more sales, right? You're saying that. So the way that would work out is because on your podcast you could have certain kinds of questions like, okay, so I think that you have a really interesting story of like how you created this business and got into it. Can you tell us really quick what that story is? What are they gonna think? They're like, oh, this is my inception story. I get to tell my fucking inception story, right? There you go. You say, hey, what would you say makes you different and unique compared to these other pet groomers in this location? There you go, right
it's
away.
like cutting to me in the studio and they're remotely like somewhere else, and that would totally work too, right?
You can do that. I think again, you can test that. What I typically see is this: like people do one of two things. Either they're doing a face-to-face podcast style, right, traditional in person, and so in that case, it would be like either you're flying out to them or you have a videographer go to them. So those are the two variations of that. The other option is like doing a Zoom like this, where both you guys look like you're on Zoom. That's what I have seen over and over again. Now, if there's a way where you can film yourself inside the studio and with like a professional camera, and then their view is more like the computer lens camera, and if you can cut those together and make it look good, then make it look good. Like me right now, I have this view and I have a camera out to the side, so I can cut them together if I wanted to.
Cool. That's super helpful. Thanks.
Welcome. Riviera, going back to where you're at, did you have questions regarding how to set up the ads? Or did you feel pretty good about how to set up the three creatives?
I would kind of assume that it was just like the previous setup, just throw new creative. Maybe do you think I should like duplicate the last ad set and just switch out the creative essentially?
Yep. I think one of the things Soup talked about in his video is how he did the targeting, and I think we spoke about that, Riviera.
Sorry, I hope my
brought that
internet
up
didn't go bad.
in our conversation.
Set on the
Were you able to hear what I said in terms of Soup's targeting?
Yeah, the job title. Yeah, I think you talked about the job titles and stuff. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta go in there because it's been a bit since I deactivated them. I just need to go in there and refresh myself on the notes and stuff. But yeah. So just some like job title targeting and throwing in like three ads into one ad set kind of deal.
Exactly.
Cool.
Any,
Yeah,
any
then
other
that's
questions?
it. I don't think I have any.
Cool, cool.
No, that'll be it. But thank you so much.
You're welcome, man. Cool. Well, we'll be here throughout the week, and if you get the ads launched today, tomorrow, let us know and we'll have a look.
All right, cool. Thank you, Koshi.
Welcome. Man. Okay, MJ. What's going on, brother man?
Going good. No, no questions so far. I still have my work cut out for me this week for the most part. It was a hell of a weekend. I also had to be on call for work last week because we had an upgrade going on IT wise for the company. So we had to be on our computers and troubleshoot stuff and do all those kind of things because, systems needed to work today. So definitely was both, I guess, mentally and emotionally draining last week. But yeah, I'm just trying to get back into things really and start getting through with my Excel sheet and then hopefully writing the scripts and whatnot to create the ads. So
Good.
yeah.
I would tell you that like that creative that Aaron, Drew, Kareem, Aman, they used, it's worked for every one of them. So if you use that, so one of the creative that you should film is the same one Aman has, and I'm pretty sure it'll work for you as well. So that you should make that as part of one of your staples.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely will. I guess the thought that came to me was, well, I haven't gone through everything yet, so I'm sure maybe this is probably already answered in one of the things to do on the Trello. But the relationship that I have with this business owner that we talked about when I joined in, at what stage so far would they come in? I know that already maybe it's like the research part, like on the niche research. I think I could leverage that and ask them some questions and figure out what offer or what angle could make sense in that part. But also I was wondering, like, at any point during this, is there a part where I would get to utilize the same things? I know we're talking about testimonials right now and things like that to be able to leverage the skills learned here, do that for them, get testimonials from what I was able to do with them and pipe that into my funnel and things like that. Um, is that covered at any part so far in the process, or I guess what does that look like if it's even a thing to begin with?
Yeah. So just to like shorten everything for you, like of course, like I want you to go through the process of doing the research and everything, but I'm just gonna kind of sort of just give you some answers, and you can kind of like take these as like, oh, I'll do my thing and Kaushik's thing because I know Kaushik's thing it probably works because of what he's telling me. So when it comes to like, what we can do is we can look at your Trello and see where you're at. Um, okay. So understand the game plan for moving forward, conduct market research. Okay. So you're in this stage of hello, welcome to how to. Okay. So basically the main part of this is basically like figure out your offer. Like what should your offer be within your funnel? And so this has already pretty much been figured out for you. It's pretty much the exact offer that Aman is using, which is something like let me see if I can pull his funnel up. So we'll get you 90 hydrofacial patients in 90 days. We will work for free. Like this is pretty much guaranteed. We've been running this for 6 months and it still like generates calls for like $30, which is insane. And so if you do this as your offer, well, then I know that it's going to work. So if you want to do this, so if you want to lead with this, or you want to have this as an offer, and then you want to do your own research and see what these other medical spa business owners are telling you, you can do that as well. I don't know if, am I breaking up, guys, or can you guys hear me and see me? Okay.
A little bit.
Um,
but
I can hear you.
Okay. So hopefully that answers your question in terms of like the offer. This is a proven winning offer. If you drive traffic to this page right here, and if your thank you page looks like this, if your thank you page, if your opt-in page looks like this and your thank you page looks like this, like it's going to work for you. I don't see why it wouldn't work. It would be highly improbable for it not to work. And again, the links and his funnel and everything should be within Trello. And so that's a little bit of your offer. So I think hopefully that kind of answers like something for you, like kind of gives you already like some guidance of like, hey, like hopefully you just have like not as high anxiety, just knowing like, hey, this stuff already works and I have this as a backup and I'm gonna do my own research and build something else. So you can run both of them or you can run just our stuff, whatever you want to do. But I just wanted to kind of share that so you know like there's something that's proven that works. Now, that being said, in terms of like working with your client, working with that person, my recommendation would be not to do that for a long time. My recommendation would be to first run ads, close a few deals, get good, understand how to speak with these people, understand how to run ads, all that stuff, so that by the time you have an interaction with this person, it's a layup. It's not going to be a difficult sell. You're not going to be stressed out. You're not going to be worried if you can get the results or not. None of that stuff. When you hop in there, you know you can get the results. And the reason that's so important is because this should be a layup. It should be the easiest sell for you. And on top of that, it's your reputation on the line locally. So the worst thing you want to do is sign somebody up right now and you're like learning on their dime and you may mess something up. And then you're not going to have word of mouth that's being spread locally about you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Furthermore, the other thing I always tell people is like, it's just at the end of the day, like, the most important skill for you to learn right now is not how to feed yourself for a month, but how to feed yourself for a lifetime. So if you service them, and let's just say everything goes well, everything goes well, everything goes fine. If you stretch life for a long enough time horizon, sooner or later, they're going to fire you. You're going to fire them. Something is going to happen. They're not going to stay with you forever. So you're talking about the short term. However, if you can get your funnel set up and you learn how to contact these people, you know how to close these people, you know how to learn how to do all that stuff, well, then no matter what happens with this local client, you're always going to be good. So that's my first thing I want to focus on, is setting you up forever so that this is like the cherry. This is like, I like to look at it like this is just a bonus. The local person you have is just a bonus. If you get it, great. If not, don't worry about it. That's how I view it.
Okay.
Does that answer your question at all? Like, you don't
Yeah.
need them to create content. Also, you don't need them to create content for the funnel. You don't need a testimonial for the funnel. You don't need anything. Like, whatever we already have, like whatever content that's already in here, like these pieces of content, like that's enough. You don't need to create additional testimonies. Whatever is in here is fine. You can use this as kind of like a template. You don't need to record it. You don't need anything. So if your mind was in a place of like, I have to get testimonials and stuff first, and then I can build a funnel, you don't have to. Just use whatever's already exists.
Okay. I guess part of me also, yeah, totally, that makes sense. And I like the first part that you said, I think already like what I would like to do, just because I think I would just also love to learn too as well. So it's the route of going through the motions of actually doing the thing, like, conducting market research, like just understanding that, even though I know that, those pieces with what you have already for Aman and all these people are already there, I want to be able to drill that into myself as to like the process to getting this, and it's part of me. So that's definitely the route I'll go. It will be a combination of me learning through that and also using what's also available, just so I learn that piece. And yeah, that also answered my question too, as to what I need from them and working with them and all that. So I know I don't have to worry about that. There is a part at the back of my head that still wants to, at some point, I don't know how or when, be able to help them out, just because I have that, relationship with them. I don't know when I get there to know what to be able to lay up to them to use or do, because I know somewhere at the back of their heads in relationship with them, in that they know that I'm doing this thing, and part of this thing that I am doing is going to be beneficial for them at some point later, down the line. So I also want to be able to find ways to give them back. So it's like they're not waiting for me for forever, even though I know that I may not come after 3 months or what have you, because I'm doing this to be able to get used to it, do a bunch of things, and then we can get to work together at some point. I want to build something in there that I can at least give back to them that they can use, and still foster or build that relationship. And it's not like, oh, are you ready to work now? Because we've had deals that we were supposed to work on for a while. I think you also probably know this too. We had deals that we're supposed to do like for a while, but I'm like, okay, can we just put all of that on hold? I need to do this thing, And so they've kind of like been patient all the way through with that. And I want to be able to give back somehow, as they've waited, all this while, is what my brain is processing through as well. So,
My
but yeah,
question,
everything that makes sense.
my question to you is this: like, why do you want to do this thing with them? I understand the words of, hey, I want to give back to them. I understand that. That's a very MJ thing to do. Always thinking about everybody else and loving first before loving yourself. It's very applaudable. However, my question to you is, why, aside from loving them and just giving back to them, like, are you from a more, let's be more selfish and think in terms of you, are you doing that because you think that if you do that, it's going to keep them on the line and you're going to be able to sell them down the road? What is the benefit? What is the actual benefit of doing this other than, just giving back to them? What is the actual benefit of this in your mind? Like, why are you wanting to do this?
I guess initially, like, very close-minded before hopping on, it was that was the path I thought was like the path to success. Initially that was my initial thought of what a path to success looked like. Walking down, building a relationship, getting more in terms of like other people that they know, and the franchise and the circle and all that kind of stuff. So that was my close-minded path to the like to success in my head, right? From that selfish perspective. So putting aside my word to them and the things that you mentioned, that was my thought of success as well, right? So my easy path to success was what I thought in regards to that. So I guess that was the selfish motive.
About now though, because I can tell by your languaging, you're kind of itching. You're itching to go back to them and do something with them. It's like, hey, they've been waiting and da da da. I got to do something. They're waiting on me.
Yeah.
That's those kind of language you're using. So like, why?
Yeah,
I understand that. Then why now?
yeah.
Why are you?
I think that there's no more. I think it's no selfish intent again in my head. It's just based on my word, I guess. So I just have to kick that out for the most part. Yeah. I just have to kick that out, and I have to deal with that. So I don't have anything that comes to my mind that I can think of a selfish intent for myself to do that right now. I don't think so. No.
So I think that this conversation, this really quick 2 minutes I'm going to give you about this, is going to be like that part where you felt like, a month or so ago, you're like, oh, it was, I just didn't know any better. I didn't have the knowledge that I have now, because when Kaushik laid out to me, he's like, oh, this order of operation makes sense. It's not the order of operations of working with them and building and word of mouth and all that. That's not how to actually grow. It's this different path. And so what we've done here is counterintuitive. So I'm going to tell you something else that's counterintuitive. Right now, you might think that going after them and starting is a good move, but it's probably the worst thing you can do. And I went over some of those things. For example, hey, look, you might not get the results. Hey, your reputation online, all those things. Hey, look, you need to focus on feeding yourself for the rest of your life before you focus on, feeding yourself for a month. Like that, I know that part logically makes sense to you. It's like, hey, if I just have a machine, I can set book calls, all that stuff. I'm never gonna worry about my paycheck. I just have to set this up. Versus if I close them or don't close them, I'm putting a lot of eggs into one basket. May or may not happen. But if I set something up for the rest of my life, I'm good to go. Another thing to consider is this is like, again, you just don't know how much you have to learn until you're in the trenches. I will tell you, me and Aman have been doing medical spots for 6 months, and we completely pulled out the engine and just put a new engine that we're testing now. I don't know if Aman's on the call. He's supposed to hop in today, and you'll see if you're here when me and Aman are talking, we're doing a completely different strategy now. And so it's 6 months. So it took us, he was getting okay results. He was getting up and down results. He was always positive. He was able to resign everybody. But like what we figured out some other cool stuff that's new, that's ripping the entire engine off. And so just think about that, right? So that's a real life example of a mistake. And you could go down and make those costly mistakes as well. So in my opinion, it's best to go after these easy layups. It's do you ever play billiards or pool?
Cool. I think I've lost you.
Have you ever played billiards or pool, MJ?
No,
Billiards, pool.
yeah, I think I've played. I mean, I'm
It's
not.
got like a bar.
I've had a pool. Yeah, I've done that.
So I never thought I'd pull up like an image of a billiard to try to explain something here, but so oftentimes, like when you're trying to hit a ball,
Yeah.
like this area, it's very difficult. But sometimes what happens is the ball just ends up right here. And it's like you just have to touch the ball and it goes in. So oftentimes whenever we have a ball here, we don't play these balls, we leave them until the very end. So if I have a ball here, I'm going to keep it here because it blocks my opponent and I just have to touch it, goes in. So I'm going to leave it until the very end to hit one of these shots in. This right here, this is the person that's in your life right now. Don't mess around with this person because this is an easy win if you play at the right time. I don't know if that analogy makes sense.
Yeah, it does. That's like a pool, by the way. But
You have
yeah,
a very easy win. Just it's about timing. But I hope that all helps, MJ.
Yeah.
I would say just focus on going down the traditional path and it'll serve you. Questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, MJ?
No, that's good with me. That's definitely good with me.
Okay.
I think Kyle wanted to say something.
Yeah. What's up, Kyle?
Oh yeah, going back, that was an expensive pool table, by the way, 10 grand for that. Going back a little bit to the video ad, because I just filmed the one video ad there, and I don't have the offer in the script itself. That's okay, right? Like, because that could be like a headline for the ad, or
Yeah, and so when we said the offer of like, hey, if Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu owners, we guarantee you 20 leads within 20 days or whatever.
Mhm.
It's important, like you want to try to have that in the ad. So that's what I was trying to get across to you is like you have the script, and so you would verbally record yourself, visually record yourself saying that, hey, Jiu-Jitsu business owner, we guarantee 20K within 20 days. We guarantee 30K within 3 months. We guarantee 90. We guarantee to double your profits within 2 days. So you want to sit down and record all the variations of that. To have that in the ad somewhere. Also, now I remember now what I said earlier. I gave you one of the winning creatives that works really well, that I think would work for you. The creative is literally, it starts off like, hey, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu owners, we guarantee you X, or you don't pay with it, right? It's the offer. How can we make such a results-driven offer? The reason for that is reason ABC. My name is Kyle, and as a fan of Jiu-Jitsu and being asked by my local club, I created a thing that works. After that, deploying that, we saw that work for every single studio. And so therefore I know it'll work for yours as well. So guarantee, how can I make this a results-driven offer? Here's the proof. Here's why I can do it. And then here's some results. If that sounds good to you, click the button below and book a call. And so I gave you a voice note where I literally went over that script. It's one of these, I forget which one it is. I would listen back to that.
Okay.
So if you consider that ad, it literally starts off with the hook. So you would create that version of the ad with like, hey, attention Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu owners, offer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, variation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This way you have them all.
okay, so you always start with that offer, kind of, well, maybe not always, but you want to have that, in the video itself, because in some of the scripts I don't have like the offer. I was thinking maybe that would be like a headline on the bottom or put it up on the screen or something, but maybe I'll have to change that in my script.
I would try to put it in the script, like, but you're right. You can totally have it as a headline. You like the place that it's important, that it's the place that's imperative that it's at is with every single person you'll see, it's this page right here.
Oh yes, I do have it on my calendar page. So I made that sure that it's there. Yeah.
It's important that you have it here, and then you can also put it on your ad, like you said, the banner. But
Mhm.
then you try to have it in your creative somewhere, that would help as well. And
Okay.
what I went over with you is like one specific creative, like one of the ad scripts, which is like the offer. How can I make this result strip an offer? Here's the reason. Here's some proof, call to action. Like this is a format of one of the creatives that work. And by the way, this is from Cole Gordon. This is what he was doing. And this is, he freaking got to like 4 million a month from this ad right here.
That's
And this is
crazy.
this ad right here, this format is crushed. That's why I suggest that you record one of these, as well as your scripts that you have.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. And then one other quick question I just had as we are talking to MJ there, when you're talking about locally, when I start running these ads, do you start in your local area, or I guess, or how do you decide what area to choose?
Yeah, I would suggest starting US and Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I would think I would, maybe do some research, try to find like a heavily populated like city with all these dojos and everything.
You could. I mean, it's up to you how you want to do it. Most of us are just targeting US and letting the algorithm find people.
Okay.
That's usually, yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what pretty much everybody's doing now. If you wanted to try that, like, dude, like we could totally test that out and see if that strategy works. I know some people are like freaking laser targeted with their ads, where literally they have one ad, one creative per state or per location. I know some people that go like really crazy, and that's something that is certainly possible to do. You take your main ad and you create 50 variations of it for every single state in the United States, or again, in the locations within Canada. That's certainly something that can be done. I don't know anyone that's done it within our program, but if that's something you want to explore, we could certainly explore that.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
For the most part, people, Kyle, are just doing United States and Canada. That's what most people are doing.
Okay. Yeah, that answers my question. Thank you.
Anything else that was bringing your mind, Kyle?
Just those two for now.
Cool. MJ, was there anything else, man?
No, that was everything for me actually. Thank you. Yeah, I'm still sticking around to the end, I guess.
Okay, cool. I think, yeah, hopefully someone was supposed to be here at the very beginning. He said he had some personal stuff come up, but hopefully he can chime in and you can kind of hear what me and him are doing before you get going. Thanks for sending this, Riviera. So this is who we were talking about earlier, guys, when we were talking about the testimonials. It's this guy right here. Also, what's interesting is, so
Dr. Prosser, can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Certainly. So I'm so happy to have discovered you guys. My name is Dr. Jack Krauser. I practice in attempts and
right. So that's the creative, and then the offer is, the freaking basic offer that everybody's running. We guarantee this. How can we make such a results-driven offer? Da 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 da. So pretty much across the board, same thing.
So like, I know it's only been about a month. Hey, dentist, I have a very special client with me here today, which some of you guys will recognize as she is a DSD master and a clinic owner, also on the board of the American Academy of Clear Aligners. Dr. Shansu, welcome, and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you.
I am.
I could totally see how like Tony, we're talking like that kind of a hook, dude, would make her be like, oh, dude, this would be great for an ad for me. You're like really gassing them.
Hey, dentist, I'm here with Dr. Rui Booz, and
so, that's pretty much it. Nothing crazy. But thanks for sharing that, Riviera.
Yeah, then I seen him do also like Zoom or Riverside podcast. So you can also see how he edits those up. But it looks like a good mix of like half and half like him sitting there, and then there's like half of him on a Zoom call or whatever. So and then he's been running these for months, I would say. Like he obviously throws in some new ones, but I'd say the one with Dr. Krauser, he's been running for like 2 months, 3 months. a lot of these he's been running for a long time. So
Yeah. Yep. Telltale sign. Adam, Tony. Talking about existential crises again. Is that what we're doing today?
Yeah, well, this is the week of existential crises. Yes.
What's up? What's up?
Well, I mean, things are going pretty good still, I think, all in all. And I'm not like thinking we need to abandon our niche, but I do think we need to figure out how to 2x or 3x what, at least what the ROI is for our clients. And right now we're like 1xing to like 0.7xing. So, that's not going to last forever for the most part. And you kind of mentioned like holding off on like building a course and course material, it seems attractive for sure.
I would build it. I would. Just to make sure that you don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying not to create a course. I'm saying not to create a course for the purpose of extracting money. If the course is going to help them get better results, you should 110% create the course. The course you can create for two reasons. One, they're already a client of yours and you're getting them great results, just like we use our course to help you guys. Or two, you're using a course as like a low ticket offer to get somebody into your ecosystem, which you're nowhere even near needing to build another kind of funnel yet. So, but just not creating a course as something to sell to them, because again, you're doing the same thing, extracting liquidity.
So yeah, I mean, we've
you were
got a
saying.
good call tomorrow with like one of our best clients about memberships, which is cool. And we've got kind of a presentation for them to go over and see if they're into it. They have some already, but I don't think they're high ticket enough for us to like really win. And they're not like all encompassing either. They're kind of like very specific. And then we have our other like kind of out of nowhere, like really her performance is great. That was like the done with you model that she's basically handling all of it herself. Her results are the best we've seen so far in a done with you model versus the done for you model, which is really cool. She's open to membership. She has like a coach she's using now within pet grooming, and has been since we've been working with her. So she's like a hotshot pet grooming coach who's like kind of reiterating what we're saying. Not necessarily the same path. I think hers is more business oriented. But she's definitely open to like memberships as well. So these are going to be our two guinea pigs to see if it'll actually work. And what Adam and I have kind of figured out is that I think this is something that, and this obviously with your guidance too, something that needs to come like after the first sale is complete, right? So a follow-up sequence. So Adam has been working on like a follow-up sequence for that. That's basically like ready to go live. So I don't know, Adam, if you want to ask any questions about that, that'd be maybe something to talk about.
I just have an idea, but yeah. Let's hear it.
Sorry, I was communicating with a lead in Spanish. I'm
Oh
trying
shit.
to
You are, aren't you? Do you want me to like curb that? You should take this. We've been like hunting this lady down for a while, and you're just talking about like Spanish, like speaking things, and like we're trying to close someone in Minneapolis who is Spanish speaking. So and on a side note, that's like getting my head thinking, and I think I mentioned this to you somehow at some point, Koshik. The most recent client we closed is Portuguese speaking. She's Brazilian. And she said her like Portuguese clients come most often out of anybody, but they're mostly a pain in the butt. I guess you could say that because she's Portuguese. But I've been trying so hard to get her to be like, just let's run a few in Portuguese. The fact that you can do that in like your area in North Carolina is gonna get anybody who is like Brazilian speaking, right? How would you convince her to do that, even because she's dragging her feet a little bit?
So go ahead.
They're the most frequent. I mean, a normal like re-up on a grooming is like 6 to 8 weeks, right? But she said in like Brazilian culture in the United States, it's more like 2 to 4 weeks. So it'd be,
So I'm sorry.
it'd be double
hear
the
that one. So she's saying they're a pain in the ass because they're like cheapskates or like what? Like what?
Yep,
What's her-
exactly. Cheapskates and too picky.
Got it. So I mean, how many times have you tried to reach out to her, ask her about this?
Just twice, so far over our course of talks, which is quite a lot. So, I just wanted a different angle, or how would you approach it, or would you just leave it alone? It's just a
I mean-
huge advantage because Portuguese in like North Carolina is not very like prevalent in our area. You know what I mean? So it just seems like there's a handful of like Brazilian demographic in the Charlotte area, which is where she's operating out of.
From what I've heard through the grapevine, from a few like literally like 3 masterminds in a row, everybody's talking about how what they're doing is they're pivoting towards like Spanish speaking people, and how the cost and ads is like 2016 numbers. It's
Dang.
insane. Yeah, it's insane. So it's like if you just like market towards like Spanish speaking people within the United States, you're gonna have 2016 numbers. So what you can do is, again, like the way you're saying dang, you get it. So you can position, I would say, and again, however you want to say, like, hey, look, here's what we're seeing, here's what we know. This would blow your clinic out of the water. We're talking about 10x return. You can take that money, reinvest that. I don't know if your goal is to open up another clinic or what have you, but this is the opportunity. And I don't think this is going to last forever. So I want to bring up to you one last time. If you're also, I don't want you to not hear what I'm saying. I understand you have issues with certain types of demographic. That's something we can work on. We can use our marketing to ensure that, the proper expectations are set. We can take care of that for you. That's what the purpose of the Facebook ad and marketing is, to set the standard right from the get-go. So you're not dealing with that kind of stuff. If you want to bring up the lot later end, you can't, it's up to you. But like, that's maybe something I would do if I were you. Position it that way.
Yep.
And then if she takes it, great. If not, that's what it is.
Do it anyway, and she won't know.
That's true. You could do that. She wouldn't know, would she?
No. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of our next play. We have like 3, good clients. We're holding on to a couple others. We're slowly burning away with a few, but they probably don't belong in our puzzle long term anyway, which is cool. And there's like, it's been really good exits for the most part, if anybody's exiting. It's super clean and like cordial, and people that we could probably lean on for a testimonial, even though they're like not clients anymore.
How many of those people has that been so far? I
That
know
we
that have exited. I know there's that one lady who like was like your best client, and she left.
Well, she was just the cheapest client. I mean, like, and the bet, like, she was the cheapest spend, right? Cheapest ad spend, but she was getting the easiest results, and she was closing like 3 out of 15, where we're seeing 2 out of 15 everywhere else. So her ratio was really solid too. Let me look at where we said we were at, just to remind myself. Yeah, I said 2 happy clients in the dog world, 2 clients, 2 new clients, and then 1 unhappy. That was the guy that last time you were like, oh, you should try to turn this dude and see what happens. I mean, sure enough, we like made him a video. He was super pumped on it. He was like, how did you guys do this? This is amazing. Like, he was like turned around again, right? But I think he might be having second thoughts about the business in general that he chose, and he's also still like operating out of his house. So there's only so much we can do about that. And he might be right. Like, it should be something where he buys a brick and mortar or a van or something like that. So we've done a lot. I've done a lot like of experimenting. I've hit like a touch point like every 2 days with him, giving him like lead updates and like suggestions for posts and things like that, just to see if I'm like kissing his tail enough. Will he pull through another month with that like treatment, or if it was just a waste of time, except for the donor.
Yeah. I remember that guy. Dude, if he bounces, like, I get it, totally get it. But you tried, and you were able to kind of get him in a good positive mindset. And so now you know that you can do that. But if who he is in his chapter and the tools that he has, like, I mean, that there's not much you can do about that, right? So I get that. So
And the gym has like supposedly paused, which is cool. Like, we basically filled up their 6-week challenge. We filled up their kids camp, which is awesome, and gave them like a something around like a 3.5x ROI, which we're really proud of. But they kind of didn't need it for the summer, I guess. She said one cool thing is that they were at like somewhere around like 110 at the end of the summer last year in revenue. And like she kind of said, because of this, they're at like 140 before the summer, which I was like, that's really sick. And obviously we didn't maybe generate 40 extra grand, but I think we probably generated like 30 throughout our time since January with them, which is really awesome. So anyway, she said she was pausing. She wanted to restart in August, and like I kind of pushed her to keep going, and that like we'd lose some momentum, but I also didn't really want to push it too hard. And she's out of our niche, right? So I figured it might have been meant to be for now, and if she comes back, that's great. If not, really no big deal.
Before we transition into the dog grooming stuff, I just think this is really cool. And I think like, honestly, that's freaking awesome that you got somebody to shut down ads because you packed their shit up. Like, that's like fucking awesome. That's like you like won and lost by default. It's really cool. However, let's say that this was your niche, right? And let's say, remember, every business, every niche, there's like a, devil's in the details. There's an issue somewhere. And so now you see like, okay, if I do a gym, I could get them such great results. I pack their shit up. And that's something, let's say, again, you ran into other gyms. How would you solve this problem? Just out of curiosity. What do you think the solution is?
To keep them on.
Mm-hmm. What do you think you would have to do? What is the next level that you would have to do to scale your agency?
I mean, that seems to be like a membership level sale, like a $2,000 sale or something like that, something extreme. Is that kind of what you're poking at?
Kind of. I'm just trying to see, like, I'm trying to see how the wheels are turning in your head to see how you would solve this problem. And I'll kind of lay on you some stuff, but I'm just trying to
keep the gym to keep the gym through the summer into August. Is that what you're saying?
How would you get them to keep paying you is what I'm saying. How do you get somebody to keep paying you where your bottleneck is not like, hey, they're getting so busy? How do you solve this problem?
I got nothing right now, honestly. I mean, I guess like I was brainstorming stuff that I could pitch them, and we tried to pitch them a few things that were like a new challenge, etc. Like day kids camp, like walk-ins and stuff like that. But I mean, I guess I would think in terms of long term, like selling forward, selling for September and October, trying to fill up their months that were going to be dull anyway with people. Usually that's probably the slowest time in a gym when people lose their January resolutions.
So I would by no means expect you to do this, but this is what like those next level agencies do, is what I'm about to go over with you. So what did Hormozi do? Do you know what he did for this? Like, do you know what he did? Because he would run into the same problem. Do you know what he did by any chance or no?
Wouldn't he pretty much sell a bunch of memberships? He'd work all the leads, keep all the cash up front.
But the constraint is, what is the constraint of the business? The constraint of the business is you have this thing, right? This is their place. And what you've done is you've packed it up like crazy. And so now the solution is not to bring more people in, which is what you're saying. Oh, bring more people in. That's not the solution because it's already packed up. So what do you do? Right. And so this is not the solution. The solution is not to sell people in September, October, November, because you're creating more problem. You're putting, gasoline on the fire. Mm-hmm. And so this is like what he did. And this is what, again, like, this is why, we look at him, we're like, holy fuck, because what he did is he changed the way literally the inside of the gym look. So he if you read his book, he changed over like, hey, here's the square footage for this exercise. Here's the square footage for this. Here's how you need to move the equipment. He literally went and fixed how they fucking organize their shit. And he moved around like, okay, you're going to have classes from 7 to 10, and then you're going to have classes from 11 to 12. You're going to do this to make up time. So he's figuring out, okay, this is packed as fuck, but here's how we pack even more people into it. So this is why people can't say, hey, you need to shut the ads down. This is that next level. This is solving and breaking through that bottleneck. And Kyle, I don't know if you're listening, but this is the kind of stuff that you're gonna have like, this is like fixing that problem, doing the one-on-ones, like this level of thinking. Does that
I
make
think
sense, guys?
there's a really good example of this. I don't know if you've ever I don't know if it's on Netflix or Hulu, but it's basically how McDonald's got started. And there's a scene inside of the movie where basically they went to a tennis court with chalk, and
Yeah.
they had all the they hired fake employees that weren't even like flipping burgers. They were just like imaginary like stations, and they drew all of everything with chalk. Okay. And then they were just trying to figure out where to put things to make it as efficient as humanly possible. So I think that's actually a really good example. I'll see if I can find it and I can show you guys, but that's exactly what he's talking about.
That movie is awesome. It's Michael Keaton. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah. But does that like make sense, guys? Like your job, and that's a lesson for everybody, guys. Like you're not just solving ads and funnels, you're solving the fucking business problem. You gotta, you're gonna keep hitting roadblocks, and your question is, how do I solve this roadblock? So that's kind of the lesson that I wanted everybody to kind of get out of this, is like, we're not like agency owners, we're like business consultants. We solve problems for business and keep driving revenue. You have to think outside the box. So this kind of like segues in very nicely to like what was brewing in my mind is all this time we've been thinking about like selling memberships, right?
Mhm.
Shits and giggles, if it's a good idea or not. What is everybody selling in here? Inside of a program, what is everybody selling?
Inside of our program,
Are people selling
Pet food,
here, right here? What are we selling?
other
we selling video?
products, pet toys, pet food.
We're not selling, I'm talking about the Cinemark and Cheat Code program. Like, what are you guys as members of the program? What are you guys selling? Are you guys selling video? Are you guys selling video strategy? What are you guys selling?
selling leads.
Leads, you're running ads. So you hop in a videography program to learn absolutely nothing about video and everything about ads, right?
Mhm.
Completely different, right? So here's what's brewing in my head is, what if you get these people in? Again, I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea. We use the offer to get people into the ecosystem for the dog grooming stuff. And then instead of them selling some kind of a membership, what if they sell something else that's extremely high profit margins? What if you could sell something else to increase the lifetime value? What if there's like some kind of other thing that they sell that has very low costs? What if there's like a course or some kind of coaching program on training the dogs or something like that? What is another problem? It's like you could fucking create the course and the program and say, hey, dog groomers, look, we're going to get people into the ecosystem, and then this is what you're going to do to maximize profits. And then you're going to have a lifetime customer that's going to keep buying this offer from you, these grooming services off you. But here's how we make the margins work. And it's not even, you don't even need to tell them that's for the margins. Like, you're doing it because you need to make the money to pay yourself.
Mhm.
Is that making sense, guys?
Yeah, I mean,
Something-
that's when affiliate marketing came into play, like dog food or something like that. And we're gonna play a little bit with that. Like, so there's like something called a bully stick that is like a chewing stick, right? And it's very common. It's like $5 and dogs fly through it in like an hour. So I was telling our person in Pennsylvania that once our $10 lead ad, or when, it will eventually fall off, right? Like $10 off will fall off eventually. We'll have to do something else. And I'm like, well, what if we got like bully stick involved and got you like at cost bully sticks? Like, what would that look like? Could you give them away for free? And she was like, absolutely. So we were thinking about doing like a little bit of affiliate marketing there with like $10 off your first grooming, plus get a free blue ribbon bully stick with, every purchase, etc. So that's a very small version. The large version of like what is like a huge cost for dogs is dog food, right? We spend a shit ton of money on dog food. So if somehow we can integrate that into what we're selling, that would be almost as good as a membership. It would just be a membership, like you said, that's not grooming. It's a dog food membership.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the only thing about that, and I went over this with you guys last time, is just like, what is the delta between, the cost versus the profit of every single one of these bags of food? You know what I mean? And so I kind of gave you last time, like Hormozy talked about how he was doing like 1.5 mil a month of Prestige Lab supplements, and his percent profit margin was like 1%, like literally. And he was talking about how he almost lost his ass multiple times and how he wishes he never created this. So that's my only concern with this, is like, just the numbers have to just make sense. And it's just like, yeah, the numbers have to make sense, but then also it's just like, yeah, like, I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna, and hopefully I'm not giving off like a negative connotation. I'm just saying, like, be careful with this. Anything that has low profit margins, always be careful. I don't like to play with low profit margin things. Like, because like, if your profit margin is already thin, like, it's only gonna get thinner, right? Like, that's like, if it's thin, it's only gonna get thinner as you spend more money on ads and it becomes more expensive. So I always like to start off with as big of a delta as possible. And so why am I suggesting something like selling a course? What is the overhead cost of that? What is the cost of that? Nothing. What is the cost of something? Like 0. And you can sell it for, I don't know, 1K for a year, $100 a month, no cost. Now all of a sudden you're increasing the delta tremendously. So again, I'm not saying no to the pet food. I'm just thinking whatever you're gonna think of, the delta is large enough. That's your main thing, is I just need more delta with whatever you do, whatever you sell. But it's definitely feasible. Like, let me know if once you guys look into the dog food stuff, like, let me know like what those numbers look like. If it's quality food and you guys get good numbers and you guys can get wholesale prices, like, yeah, it might be a fair play, dude. Might be. Yeah.
Cool.
Thoughts? Anything brewing in your head? Aside from that.
Yeah, I mean, it's helpful to see something instead of grooming services. You know, that's going to help us think outside the box. We're just kind of throwing stuff at the wall to see what makes sense. But yeah, I see what you're saying about profit margins. It's not like, unless there's already like a massive markup, which there probably is. It might be.
It's like you're splitting the $100 already, and then you might say, I'm bringing in $200, another $100, but you're really not, because this is like $80 cost, and so really you're bringing in $20, and then that has to be split. So it's like very little money that's being split, that's added to the pot, that's split between you and the business owner.
Yeah, something about like grabbing the people when they have puppies seems to be like coming into my mind too, like puppy training course, etc. And then if you have someone since their dog was a puppy, the LTV is like crazy, you know? Especially for some of these places that are starting to offer shots, which is becoming like rabies vaccinations or Bordetella vaccinations or something like that.
What?
So
There's
That came-
something.
Sorry.
Here's a random idea. I don't know if this will work, but what if you create an offer to get the puppies in? So instead of like trimming and stuff like that, you create something very specific and niche, like 2 services, like, hey, free vaccine and whatever, you know, and again, you're just trying to attract those pet owners that have the babies, and then you sell them this thing that can be high lifetime value, which is like the course to train them up, for example. Or first time, here's another idea, second idea, first time pet owners, we're offering this. Now they're a fucking brand new pet owner, they're freaking the fuck out, they have no clue what they're doing, now you sell them a course.
yeah, we've tried a puppy offer. We have one in one of the pipelines and it works pretty well, but it's not any different than the ones that we're offering. But if there was like, I think that might be a thing where you know, it's kind of like having a child where there's a lot of stuff you have to pay for right away. So if you can get a hold of some of those, you know, fees yourself, that could be a really great way to capitalize and get like a few X instead of just 1X.
Yeah. Lots of ways to play this one. And gets the mind really thinking. But I hope this has been kind of like a good exercise to kind of get the, you know, wheels turning, and kind of keep going and see what else we can figure out. Adam, anything you wanted to add to this, man? Anything that was brewing in your head, dude?
Not really. I mean, I was thinking about the puppies too, because I had a lead today that was basically asking me for the client that we're working the leads for our whale client. She was basically asking me like, how how are you guys gonna get my dog to sit still for this bath? She was like, I have a 1-year-old husky um that's just absolutely jumping off the walls. And I pretty much told her that we have super experienced groomers that are, equipped to handle young, crazy dogs. We'll use treats and calming voices, and she ended up calling the store to book. So that was good. But that was what I was thinking about. Like these past 5 minutes was like maybe like some sort of puppy course that's like, hey, if you want to be able to bring your young dog to come get regular grooms or vet appointments, or just if you want to take them to a dog park and for them to be able to behave properly, like here's a course to raise a proper pup, something like that.
One thing you guys should do that gives me an idea as well is one thing you guys should consider implementing into your calls is ask a question. I don't have the question off the top of my mind, but like something as like specific as, also, before I let you go, what is the one thing that's been driving you up a wall regarding your dog lately?
Yeah.
Boom. And then if we keep hearing the same thing over and over, it's like we create a course or a thing on that. And then maybe even like you get like 3 main problems we hear over and over again, and we have 3 courses to solve each one of those.
Yeah. I like that.
A little bit of market research, a little bit of ammo there.
Definitely.
Cool. Thanks.
Welcome. Anything else that you guys want to go over, guys?
I mean, where we stand with Drew's conversation, and it's good to hear you be like, I mean, I didn't even get a chance to listen to the recordings, but I read what you wrote. And it's good to get a subjective view of like some of the holes that might be there, some of the strengths that might be there. And we've kind of been looking at this niche now with more of a microscope, or under more of a microscope, now that we know kind of what's going on a little bit, right? And I've kind of sensed your tone a little bit in terms of like, where's you got to find the money here, and if it's not here, so be it. So in the back of my head, those things are brewing with like, what service industry could we hack really easily, right? In the same way, not necessarily cement, but similar. And it wouldn't be something that would take a lot of dedication and time. I don't think it could be like a 2-day project or something, and just see if it works, and see if it works again and again while we're doing all this. But I think we have enough here to be able to create a course that's worth something to someone. And, maybe that cost was like too low. I do think like a mix between what you were saying and what Mason was saying before about maybe just having them on for like a 3-month trial and then selling them on the course. That sounds awesome. And that still would be pretty profitable once we get a few more things in place, I think. But that's kind of where our head's at in the macro picture.
Yeah.
I was gonna send this video over to you guys because I thought it was just like super timely. This video right here, your business doesn't need more leads. Highly recommend giving it a watch if you guys have some time. It's literally like your guys' situation. I feel like the last 2 or 3 videos he's created, pertained to something with you guys. But like he just talks about like literally what we were talking about, which is like, hey, you have a constraint. It's this thing, and you have to figure out how to break the constraint. You have to. That's how you solve the problem in the business. You have this pet grooming stuff. We have to think, okay, do we have another offer? And then do we try to get pups in and then try to ascend? Do we try to sell a course? Do we try to get them in and then sell them a course and only do a month? Like that's what you have to figure out. And I feel strongly. So the reason I bring this up is like, Tony, you said like, Kaushik, I kind of hear the whispers of like, hey, if it's not here, go somewhere else. What I'm saying, actually, like, just so you know, is I'm saying, I would say figure this out first before you try to go. And the reason I'm saying that is like, here's the true reason I'm saying this. The true reason I'm saying this is this issue that you're having, you're going to have in any other niche. You're going to have critical thinking. You're going to have bottlenecks in every freaking niche. Every niche, there are bottlenecks or problems. And so, that's what I talk about. And again, Hormozi talks about this as well in his videos, like the lady with the pretty red dress. You see, Drew, and you see like, oh, he just does this and it seems super easy. But then you realize, oh shit, like she's pretty with a red dress, but then you get in bed with her and she's 6 types of psycho, and she's got a baby daddy that's in jail that's about to be out in like 6 weeks. And it's like, holy shit, I know I had all these problems. I don't want to deal with them. And like, you don't know that, you know, Drew doesn't know that he doesn't have those problems because he's only 3 months into it. He doesn't know yet. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. Just like you guys didn't know, like a month ago about this. And so if you pivot, I promise you're going to run into something. And so the skill to build is like, again, when it came to like the first 3 months, what is a skill? Like nurturing leads, selling leads, and all that stuff. Just like that, the problem to solve is thinking critically about how to get rid of bottlenecks and get through bottlenecks. You have to do that because you're gonna face that in every single industry. So my number one thing is like, flex this skill and build this skill now of fixing this problem. Think creatively. And if you guys can just do this, dude, the crazy thing, guys, is like, here's the crazy thing. If you solve just this problem, like you guys are set. There's no other, I mean, there's going to be problems, but like for the most part, I think there's not going to be a lot of problems if you just solve just this one problem. Versus you don't know the number of problems that await you if you pivot and do another niche. You could have 5 big problems. This, you literally have just this one problem. And I'll be honest with you, like if you really wanted, I'm not saying that this is the right thing to do, but you can like run ads and retain somebody for like 3-4 months until they kick you out. And you just know like, okay, by month 4, they're gonna kick me out. And you're just like, okay with that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are happy to do that. You know what I mean? A lot of people are happy to do that. So, I hope that makes sense in terms of like my overall, like kind of like message and like suggestions. You guys like focus on trying to solve it first before making any type of pivot. You guys are close as hell, I think. Really close. It's just very painful and it's normal. It's normal. It's very normal what you guys are experiencing. Zero Rivera. Other thoughts, Tony?
Thanks for the extra time. We appreciate you, definitely.
Kyle, did you have another question, man?
Yeah, just on that, I think I might have missed some of that. I was away there for a second, but is their issue what you're saying, like the increasing the lifetime value, or
for Tony and Adam?
Yeah.
Yep. Their issue is the issue that they have right now is that with their service fee, the client is basically breaking even or losing money. Some of the clients are. And so what they have to do is they have to make their clients' customers worth more. So they have to figure out some additional stuff that they have to sell to the customer.
Yeah, okay, that's kind of what I thought. This just occurred to me actually when you guys are talking, that you guys, Tony and sorry, is it Adam? Yeah. Do you guys just work with like pet grooming, or is there more to it than that? Because
Yes, 100% pet groomers. We've been like offered a ton of like adjacent to pet groomer stuff, and we've turned it down just because we know better. That's just our niche as of like, I don't know, March, you know?
Okay. The reason I ask is because actually I do jujitsu with a guy. His name's Derek Snow. And I was just kind of looking this up and I thought this might be good for you guys. He had a post, I can't remember when it was, but he was saying something like, I think he's up to about 400,000 a year. And he's working with like, it says on his page, I'm just reading it. I help dog daycare / boarding / training facilities with a gentle focus, build and grow multiple 6-figure business. And I don't know if you got like, maybe it could be a matter of adding more stuff like that. Like it's still in the pet industry, but I know he's doing really well with that.
Please drop the link. I would love to see that.
Yeah, here, I'm going to give you his page. And I know he uses ClickFunnels because I actually helped him build funnels like maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, I'll drop a link, but yeah, he's doing really well, and he's doing like daycare training facilities. So maybe, and like that was my problem too. Like I wanted to just focus on jujitsu, but Coach Shi kind of said, it might be better to like expand it and do martial art clubs and more generalized.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, totally. I mean, there is a world where we could expand to boarding, because sometimes boarding and grooming crossover. It was just like we wanted to be such specialists. So, okay, thanks for the link. I see that. Thanks,
yeah,
Kyle.
yeah, for sure. That's it. I just wanted to throw that out there because, and I actually know this guy, and I'm sure he would even jump on a call with you guys if you wanted to chat with him.
Sick. Yeah, definitely.
So cool.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Wow, thanks so much, man. It's awesome, dude. I think we have just Camilo.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, man?
Not much. I mean, we've been talking through our Slack channel, so that's good. I talked to, I don't know, it's something I want to run by you, but I shot a video last Friday for like a trampoline park. And the guy has an agency in Oklahoma, and he's like, you know what, I'm just not. I brought the topic of, doing ads for him. He's like, let's talk about it. Let's see what you can do for us and just go from there. But that's something I want to run by you, see what you think. But in terms of numbers, last week I had one sales call, and it was a really packed week for me with meetings and things. So I didn't have a chance to do a lot of discovery calls. This week doesn't look too packed for me, so it looks like tomorrow I'm gonna be able to do some discovery calls. I still have like 30 leads to call. So
Jeez.
yeah, yeah. And what I'm trying to do right now is just do a discovery call and then just book them for either the next day or tops 2 days.
Okay. What week are you on right now?
For this is my 5th week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you're still fine.
Yeah.
What I asked you, 2 questions inside of our chat, and my thing is like, I just want to, and I got your voice note, by the way, I got your message and what you're trying to get, and thank you for that, by the way. Thank you for sharing that and just letting me know kind of like where your head is at, and just like what you're
Yeah,
wanting to
no.
So I appreciate that. But like at the end of the day, like I also want to like just know how I can help. You know what I mean? Like what can I do? I feel like one thing we can do, and it doesn't maybe have to be this on this call, and you can, if you want to, we can go over this, or it can be in private. But like I think one thing that would help me try to step into your shoes is just like having like your daily schedule. That could help me help you. To try to like step into your shoes and then like maybe give you some suggestions based off of like who you are and your lifestyle and what you got going on. That could be something that could be beneficial for you. But like what do you like, how do you think I can, like, what can we do to help and serve you at this level, like right now?
I mean, at this time, it's just like this week, it was like probably one of the busiest weeks that I've had in the past year or so. I was just like meeting after meeting, different things that I had going on. I had 2 video shoots that came out of nowhere. Projects with some clients, a dentist client that I had. We had shot a voiceover and she didn't like it, so she had to come to my office and record the voiceover. It was just like one thing after the other, like every single day it was like packed. But like I said, this week there's not a lot on my calendar, so I'm gonna just go through those discovery calls and book those sales calls for either Thursday or Friday, which look pretty open. So yeah.
I'm, I mean, how do you feel about this? Like, I almost feel like, and again, there's no judgment on me about you as an individual, your character, but to me, like the vibe that I get, the vibe that Mason gets is like, to us, it feels like a chore to you to do these calls and stuff. Like it feels like a chore as opposed to like, hey guys, I'm looking forward to learning this thing. I'm looking forward to doing this thing. I'm looking forward to getting punched. And you don't have to. You don't have
No,
to.
no. The sales call. So when I do discovery calls, there's people that I know that are like completely broke. Like I know they're broke. People who, I mean, who started their business 2, 3 weeks ago and they're making $300 a month. That's not someone who's going to spend $500 in ads or $1,500 in ads. And that's what I've seen from the 2 people that I talked last week and this week is like they like it, but once they get to the offer, they're like, I cannot afford like not even half of that. Like cannot even afford like $200. So that's that. But I think with more, I mean, not more qualified, but with someone that has, the funds, they're gonna be more willing to make. I don't know. That's just what I think. But yeah, the one person that I did the sales call with, that was the first one. It was a nonprofit. and she was interested, but she said she had to talk to her business partners. And I told her today, like, hey, what if you just come up with $500? We'll, just do Facebook ads, and then we'll see
Hello,
the
hello, can you guys
results.
hear me? I can't hear you guys.
I can hear you.
Just give him 1 second.
I can hear you guys now, sorry about that. Camille, the last thing I heard was nonprofit.
So the nonprofit, talked to her. So when we did the sales call, she was like, I like this, but I need to talk to my business partners because there's more people making this decision and they're not willing to get a loan or anything or get any funding. And then so I talked to her today. I was like, hey, what if you just, take care of the ad spend? We'll do a free trial and then we can go from there. And she said, yeah, I like that. Let me talk to them tomorrow and then I'll get back to you on Thursday. Because she wanted to, but it's just more people are involved with that decision and she doesn't want to be the only one risking, like getting the funds or the loan to take care of the ad spend and the investment, but she's interested in it.
So there's just a few things like I'm just concerned about like one thing, and I'm just concerned about the next stage. I want to ask Tony and Adam something just for the sake of you. Tony, that very first phase where, you were just doing a lot of calls and trying to close that first deal. And again, would you guys get like 100 leads before you guys got the first one? It was pretty much the last one. I know I'm calling you guys on the spot here, but what would you say if you had to really think about like, what are like the top 5 lessons and skills that you built there that you feel like if you hadn't done it, you guys would not be where you are right now? Like genuinely, honestly, that like, dude, if we didn't do that, if we didn't go hard, or if we skipped a step, like we would miss out terribly. Like, are there 5 things that you can think of?
All right, I'm going to give 3 and Adam's going to give 2. Nurturing in between the booking and the call was crucial. And that's something that when we're lacking on our own funnel now, we can see a big difference in like show up to sales calls in general, right? So the more we give, the more we connect with the people via text, via call, whatever. Like half the time I'm like calling somebody before a video call just to see if they're actually real. That's crucial. And that really helped us, like, I think establishing a relationship, finding something in common, a common ground, whether it's like geographical, personal, whatever, that's crucial. Tenacity, just being like relentless. You really don't have an option. I mean, you paid for the lead, you might as well try. And a lot of days you don't want to try, have to eat the shit and just keep doing it. Even when you have 0 results over and over. I mean, like we got into the valley of despair, as Adam will tell you, and Koshik will remind us. And, that was really hard for us to like, be like, okay, we've gotten through 50 calls or whatever, and we haven't gotten a single close yet. And we've gotten so close. I think another thing was just having our shit together during the sales call. Having the last thing, my third one, is like having that sales call template to work off of and like sharing our screen. That kind of keeps my pentameter or my rhythm in check. And I'm like, okay, this is what's next. And then like you can go over the whole thing. And I think that's such a hack to be like, this is everything we're going to go over. And here it is again from the top, right? That was like a crucial part of closing people, is just having something we customized based on what the material in the course is, for our own sales call worksheet, right? That was just like huge. So those are my 3.
So on the first, thanks, starting for that. I appreciate that. On the first stage, what were you guys doing to nurture those leads between the discovery call and sales call?
Right. I mean, the first thing we would always do is DM them if they didn't have website. We still do the same thing to this day, is like if they didn't send us a website or socials, it's like the first talking point. So it's like, hey, stoked to talk to you guys. Can you send along your socials or websites so we can check them out before our call? If they don't answer, I would do a little bit more research, and I still, again, do this to this day, and like figure out based on the email or based on their like email plus their area code. if you put those two things together, you can pretty much figure out which one of the entities they are, right? And then I'll just do some like snooping Loom or something like that and send it to them. And I think like maybe that's like 20% of those people will actually read that. But the ones who do like look at the Loom or read the text, like definitely get back to us, and we'll come to a sales call if nothing else.
Gotcha.
Tony, what if you skip that stage, dude? Like, what if you skip that stage?
Well, we do by accident when we get too busy. And it doesn't work out as well. Our sales call count goes down. I mean, that happened this weekend because, I was like out, Adam was out, like just kind of running around our state for Memorial Day. And we probably had a lead that if we would have nurtured, would have showed up to our call today, but instead she ghosted us.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, it's like, we can't win them all, but it's a lesson learned for sure.
That's very valuable, but also like I should have phrased this better. What I meant is when I said, what if you skip that? What I meant is, what if you had skipped the 6-figure and 6-week funnel, all that stuff that we made you guys do? What would happen then, like realistically?
I mean, it would have fallen apart. I mean, we might have gotten like some closes, but we would just like the onboarding part is so crucial.
I can't hear you.
Every single phase of pain is
I can't hear you.
I can hear you.
We can hear. Koshi.
Let's talk bad about Clay Chicken until he starts
Yeah.
talking. Mason,
I can hear him.
the floor is yours.
I can
All
hear
right.
you.
Just kidding. Can you repeat that one more time? Sorry, we got out of control.
My question was like, let's say so here's why I'm asking this question is like, here's the issue. The issue is this, and I'm just looking out for Cam. I want to make sure he's good for when he gets to your guys' phase. The problem that I'm seeing is Cam has got like 30, like you heard him. He said he's got 30 leads. He still has to call, which is insane. Right. And it's like he's just so backed up and busy with his life, his wife, his kids, and he's having a difficult time, like hop on these discovery calls, hop on these sales calls. And so it's like I have one or two options. Like, okay, Cam, like either keep pushing him and get him to do the thing that I know is like do the thing, or two, like, okay, let's just bypass this shit and let's just go to the stage that you're at. And so what I'm trying to get Cam to see, and I'm trying to get your perspective is like, well, what happens if I just tell Cam, hey, dude, let's just pass this and let's niche down. I want to get.
I don't want to bypass this stage. Like, I don't want to bypass it. I know I have to do it. Like, it's all about the reps. If
Yeah, the
I
reps.
bypass this step, I'm just, like setting myself up for failure. And that's not what I want. Like, I
Okay.
know how the program works. And that's what I told you today. I don't want you to get the impression that I think that I'm wasting my time or this is useless or anything like that. Like, I know the program works and it's on me. Like, I just got to do the reps.
Okay. That was my concern is like, and I know that
No.
you're giving that impression. It's just like, I feel bad and I want to see you win is what I'm saying. Is like, I want you to feel as little pain as possible. That's always, because it's painful as fuck, dude. Like this whole thing's painful. Like Adam and Tony are like in so much pain right now. And it's like, I just want
And
to,
that's something you told me since the onboarding call, like there's gonna be pain at every single stage. And I know it's gonna be there, so, and I'm okay with that. But once again, I just want you to know, like, I don't think this is a waste of time or that, I don't know, like, that I wasted my mind. I know it's a good program. I just gotta go through the reps. And the only problem I'm facing right now is just finding the time to do the calls, especially sales calls, because those are a little bit longer. Like if you look at my schedule this week, there's pretty much nothing. And then on Tuesday is like packed, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like for some reason it goes like that. But this way I'm gonna try to keep it open so I can do these sales calls.
well, in that case, I guess I've saved you, Tony, from answering that question. Because it seems like, yeah. So
Adam's still got 2 to go though. He's got to share his 2.
Yeah.
I think Adam was gonna say something and cut him off.
But just real quick, like you got to do the reps, Cam. Like it sounds like you're very aware of this, but maybe just look at it in the way of like you're paying for these leads. So even if they are like super broke or they have a one product Shopify store with $200 in sales, like just you know that the reps are priceless. I mean, that's what you said. So even just jumping on those calls, knowing that it's not going to go well, but just finding like your voice and your tone on these discovery
Totally.
calls is super valuable.
Yeah.
So just that and like getting used to handling objections and like just hearing like repetitive responses from leads, and you just being able to like disconnect your ego from that and like because I'm like super sensitive and I get like super weird if a call doesn't go well, but now like 50 calls in, it doesn't phase me at all. So
All right, thanks, I appreciate that.
sure.
Um, So, um, so all right. So and why does like why did I kind of go down this path as well, Cam? The reason for that, and again, it's like I just want to again, and I know that you know this, and I probably sound like a broken record. Like I just want to see you guys win, and I want to see you guys win as fast as possible. That's all I care about. And so I kind of feel like a dick sometimes because I feel like I'm like the person that's got to say like the bad news, like yo, calm down, hold your break. And whenever people get happy, it's like I got to shut them down, and I feel like an asshole. And so like this is that part, like step 8. Step 8 was follow the proven path, and it's like don't take on other marketing clients for fast cash, which is literally what you just asked. So that's your answer. Your answer is stay on the proven path, do the reps and follow that, and then don't do this because it's going to hurt you. You're going to have issues like Tony and Adam right now, where like they have this massive issue, and it's such big problems to solve. I mean, I know I probably don't have to do this, but like I will just show you what Rodarte is dealing with. Like,
Dude, poor fucking Rodarte, dude.
like just listen to this.
Hey guys, happy Memorial Day. I just want to give you an update on what I have. So the creative I made was they're all women, you know, and I'm trying to tell her, I mean, this is according to my niche expert I spoke to on Zoom. The one time she said like women are the market, like, and it's the same thing with like most of her clients are women. Like,
so really quick, give you context. Basically, he just gave her an update because he's trying to keep her happy, and then she comes back at him because she sees like his ad set targeting, and it says it's targeting women, and she's like, yo, MFer, like we want males and females. And so this was like his response. I did probably do care to men and women both. And so we care to both men and women. That's what she saw on his screen because he sent her a Loom video. Yeah, she's very big on gendered language. And even if you look at her website, like I guess I underestimated how much she cares about this. Like here's the like front center, right, of her Pilates class. But when I was there, they were all women. She doesn't have any male instructors. They're all female. All 14 of them are female. So the creative I made was they're all women, you know, and I'm trying to tell her, I mean, this is according to my niche expert I spoke to on Zoom. The one time she said like women are the market, like, and it's the same thing with Ellie. Like most of her clients are women. Like, I actually want to crunch the numbers and like show her like, you know, so you only have 5% men or whatever it is, but she's like upset that I'm only marketing to women, and I'm trying to tell her, you know, this is my response to her. And this was Sunday, so this was yesterday. I let her know like, hey, you know what, you were very clear. I'm not using gender language, girls, ladies, but she was. She didn't want, you know, hey ladies, it's time for beach body. Like she didn't want any of that language in her ads. I understand. I'm honored. So he's just going to go over like what he tried to do to explain to her, like, hey, look, we target women. This is what the market wants. Da 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 da. And then, I'm poking fun and light of Rodarte. I love him, but he's like just bitching the whole time about her. But I need to understand. Sometimes
Once it goes toward the end, it goes crazy.
Why are they coming to Pilates Plus versus all other studios in LA? Our target isn't just women. So you're and to say it's frustrating is an understatement, man. Like I'm just like at this point, I'm like, do whatever the fuck you want. You know, just it's like she's hamstringing me, man. It's like I want her to understand that I'm on her team. I want her to succeed. But every decision I make, she's like undermining me, like and like crippling me. Like it's just like I don't get where she's coming from. I get that she is, you know, she has these values of like, you know, men and women are equal, and like fine, I get that, but I want her to understand that the market does not give a fuck. You know, like she wants to open up to men and women, great. And one thing I want to challenge her, and I haven't communicated back because I'm like, I need to calm down. My wife has told me like, hey, just you know, take some time because I tend to you know, fire off. And obviously, I'm pretty fight. I don't want to, you know, get in a battle with her. But so I'm like, I'll take some time. But
so you're just talking about how he's got high blood pressure because of this client.
Coach Cheek, did you see my comment when he said that?
Which one?
He was like, when he was like, oh, the market doesn't give a fuck. I was like, congratulations, you're now officially a marketer.
Yeah. And so, you know, we're all cracking up here, and it's the funniest shit in the world to me. It's like everybody goes through this process of like your very first client giving you shit, and then you learn how to deal with them and maintain. So anyways, you know, I wanted to share this for a little bit of a laugh, but then also just to like drive the point home of like, this is why you can't do this kind of stuff, Camilo. It's like you got one thing to focus on. You got to focus on like what, you know, Tony and Adam are talking about, like all these things right here, like the big 5, you got to focus on that, learn that. And then, you know, eventually you're gonna have your client, and then you're gonna learn the next things and the next thing. So it's like step by step, we're giving you skills to learn at each time, at each interval. That being said, I think we're on the same page, bro. And I know that our best interest is like your success is our best interest, and just trying to do as efficient as possible. So I mean, like, if there's anything I can do, bro, just let me know. Like, what
I
can I do?
will, absolutely, absolutely.
You know, anything me and Mason we'll do, man. But aside from that, like, Camille, do you have other questions or other thoughts or anything you want to chop it up about that can help?
I had a question on how to nurture those leads in between the sales call and discovery call, but discovery call and sales call. But I got that answer from Tony, which helps. And actually, the two of my sales calls, I booked them like within like 10 days apart. And with those two sales calls, I kept in contact with them, and then I kept sending them messages and everything. And those two showed up 10 days later. So I mean, that was big. So just nurturing those leads, it does help.
How many leads have you gotten so far? And then out of those leads, how many do you feel like are decent?
What numbers here? So leads in total had 49. Those two, sorry, my daughter's running. I saw a couple that were cleaners, and they were making $5,000-6,000 a month. And I tried calling them, but they never picked up. But those, I think, those are good leads. But I would say out of the 49 leads, there's like 4 or 5 that I think would be really good leads.
If you know the name of the just a side note, if you know the name of the business, Cam, which you should because they filled out the application, the owner may have been the person that put their personal phone number down. But if you Google the actual name of the business, you'll have the company phone number, and then just call that number. And then be like, hey, I just spoke with blah, 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 but I can't reach him on a cell phone. He told me to maybe call you on here. Could you leave a note for me? And then boom, he'll call you back. Just letting you know.
Yeah, that's good. I'll try that.
Tony, what do you recall by any chance what the revenue of what the gym owner was when you started working with them?
Previous to us?
Yeah, before they started working with you. Like
Barbie.
Barbie, yes, indeed. So what the one figure that we do know is that they were at 110 last year at the end of August, and now this year they're at 140 before May is over. I don't know their monthly revenue per se.
Okay. So the reason I was asking is this for you, Cam, is like, and I know this is a bit challenging, but the idea, like, all I care about is this. All I care about and all that really matters is not, and I know when you hear like, oh, dude, they started the business like, 2 weeks ago out of their basement, they got like $300. Like, yeah, like those guys for sure. Like, there's not like, I mean, honestly, you shouldn't write those off because you can probably get them financing if you're really good at what you do. If you're really good at selling and persuading, you can probably get somebody financing.
I would hold on. I would take a step back though, because a lot of people that are probably doing something like, I'm not going to say all, right? I'm not going to say like many, but people that are just starting a business, they're making like $1,000 a month or something, like that's not their full-time gig. They have a 9-to-5, or they have something that's funding this business venture. You know what I'm saying? So like they have money somewhere. This isn't their main thing too. I think that's super important to remember.
Solid. That's a very solid point to bring up. And that further kind of like goes into like what my main point is, which is like, our goal is just to see that you can extract money, Camilo. That's it. That's all we care about. That's it. Like, it's not, like, I want you to extract money and ensure that it's painful enough that it's like, hey, this wasn't, this isn't freaking a 200-pound guy beating up a 140-pound guy. You know what I mean? Like, I want it to be a fair fight. We're showing your sales skills and we're showing you being persistent. That's all I care about. And so that's the lens to view it through. So I know it's hard to kind of be like, hey, well, who's got the money, who's not got the money? But like, that's the videographer way to look at things. You got to view it from, who can I sell? Who can I sell? Who can I get bought in? Sometimes it is the beginning person because they're desperate and they want to start the business or whatever. And so it's like, if you can just extract Camille like $500, dude, as a down payment or something, I would be like, okay, we're good. Camille's learned enough. Let's move on to the next. So I just want to share that as well. It's like, I mean, who came before you? MJ was here. Yeah, he's still here. So if you want to ask him, like literally, he closed somebody. He went through the rest of the course material that like we made available to him after he closed. We only make this available after somebody closes. And MJ saw the vision and he just refunded that person. And now he's niched down. He's focused on the next thing. So I wouldn't get so fixated on that. Like you
Yeah,
might be
yeah.
like Arte who closes an 8K deal, but then you might also close a deal that we're just like, yeah, dude, there's no long-term anything here, but you learned the skill. Now let's go ahead and niche down and actually like get to work. So I just want to try, I would focus, I wouldn't get fixated on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So just
No,
a
I totally
reminder.
get that.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, if you got like 50 leads, you should have like 5 solid people that you can sell to, in my experience. Like it's usually 10% that are like sellable.
There's those 2 cleaners. There's one, I mean, I think he's a chef, and that would be a good lead too. But I'm gonna be calling all the people that I have on my opportunities and see what comes through.
Okay, cool.
Because I'm gonna try to call tomorrow and then book them for Thursday or Friday.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Mason, do you
Yeah,
have any
so-
advice for, I'm sorry, go ahead, Camille.
No. That's just gonna say, that's what I'm trying to do for this week, make those calls and hopefully have some wins by next Monday.
Yeah, man, I'd love to see by like end of next week, dude. I'd love to see like ideally like 3 sales calls, man. Like 3 sales calls and like one that like you feel really good about. Because by the end of next week, it's like you've already had 2. And then if we get 3 sales calls and we get them a little bit on the longer side, bro, and you feel good about like one of those, like I'd be like, okay, we're good. We're moving at a healthy pace. This is good.
Yeah,
Love to see. Awesome.
sounds good.
Ideally, I mean, if it's a close, it's a close. That would be even better. But
Mhm.
Mason, do you have any advice for Camilo? Anything based off of like the conversation we're having here at all?
I mean, I think he already knows what he needs to do. I think it's just more along the lines of like, if you paid for the leads, like, I'm just gonna keep calling people until they pick up. Like that's what I would do. I mean, you already paid
Yeah.
for them, so it's like, even if they didn't pick up the first time or the second time or the third time, it's like, you just have a huge database of people you can call. So might as well just keep calling them until they tell you to fuck off. Like straight up.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Cool. Anything else, Camilo?
No, that's it.
Cool, man. Guys, I think that's pretty much everyone that we've ran through. Anybody have anything else that they want to go over today?
Adam, you gotta give your 2 things that you learned. You gave something that you learned, but I think you have two things that you
Talk
learned that-
about how you got out of the valley of despair.
There you go.
To get out of the valley of despair, you just have to keep showing up to the coaching calls. That's what I learned. No, I would say the 2 biggest, I mean, I kind of went over them, just like, yeah, if you're paying for the leads, you might as well like get better at sales, handling objections, and like finding your voice and your tone in calls, because yeah, it's just going to keep getting more. I mean, 30 is a lot, like 30 sitting in opt-ins is a lot, but if you end up having a client that you're working leads for and one day there might be 50 or 60, so might as well just get into the habit of like, if you have a 5-minute buffer block in your day, just go onto the high level app and make a call if you have Wi-Fi. So yeah,
Well,
that's it.
Thanks,
I would say for sure, like finding your voice is a big one. That's a huge one.
For me, it was for sure.
I remember there's a guy, he was one of the very first guys. His name's Shadi, that I shared the phone with back in the day when I first created it. And I remember he was kind of using my sales script. He was running through it. He was like, and then he finally closed a deal. And I was like, well, what's the difference? And he was like, I was just trying to be somebody else on the first 100 calls. And when I finally just became myself and I did my thing my way, it just clicked. And so I think that goes into some of what Adam is saying is like, yeah, use a script, use everything, understand the psychology behind, understand the game of chess, understand like why I say and do certain things that, you know, kind of puts people in checkmate, but then also find your voice and how you say things and how you do things. I think that's super important that Adam went over. Guys, anything else anybody wants to go over? Tony, Adam, Kyle, Mason, MJ, Cam.
I mean,
Cool.
I have a lot of stuff, but
Done for
fine
me
for
on my
this
end.
moment.
We can chop it up, Mason, if you want to hang out for a little bit. It's up to you.
I'm done.
All right, me and Mason are gonna talk about some secret spy next level shit. You guys gotta bounce. We'll see you guys next week.
Appreciate you guys.
See you guys.
You guys,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Night.
See ya.
I'm just gonna stay in here and listen to the secret sauce. All right, later, guys.
See you, Kyle.
I should probably create a new, yeah. Let me actually create a new Zoom real quick, okay? This one's
Alright.
streaming.
Yeah, sounds good.